Alright, so today we're going to talk about linear perspective, and we're going to talk about one-point perspective. So we need to have our sketchbooks, and a pencil, and a ruler, or some sort of straight edge. So if you don't have a ruler, it's pretty easy to make a straight edge. You can just take a sheet of paper like this, and fold it in half, and then you've got a straight edge. If you want it to be even a little sturdier still, you can fold it in half another time. Then you probably just want to use this folded edge, not the edge with all these different edges sticking out, just this one. And you can use that, and that should be just as effective. You don't really need to measure anything today. You just need something to help you draw straight lines. Okay, so here we go. So we've been looking at isometric perspective, where all of the diagonals, or all the lines that are moving into the background, are going the same direction in parallel and have the same diagonal. That's not really how things work visually, so we're going to talk a little bit about linear perspective today. So linear perspective really started being used during the Renaissance. You're going to have to wait, Angel. I will put it in later, but right now I'm doing a lesson. So linear perspective was started to be used a lot during the Renaissance, and we're going to show you today. So there's a couple different varieties that you use for different situations. We have what's called one-point perspective, two-point perspective, and three-point perspective. We will probably use one-point perspective and two-point perspective in this class, but there's also a three-point version. So one of the first things I want to talk about is, in one-point perspective, we're going to have a horizon line. The horizon line is usually going to be about eye level. So I usually want to put my horizon line on the middle of the page. The higher or lower I put my horizon line, the wonkier things have a possibility of ending up looking. Oops, the wrong way. There. Oh, it's about level. Okay. So the next kind of concept I want us to look at is, also if we think about splitting this in half for the time being, that's going to be our vanishing point right there. Okay. If I have a box, you can see on the box here that you can only see the front of the box, right? If I move the box up above the horizon, suddenly I can see the bottom of the box right here. Just a little bit, but I can see it. Same idea if I move it down below the horizon. Actually, let's turn it this way, see if that's better. Yeah. You can see the top of the box now. Okay? So if I move it to the right, you can see the right side of the box. If it goes to the left, you can see the left side of the box. If it goes up and right, you can see the left side and the bottom. Okay? So I can always see the sides that are facing towards this center point. All right. So let's start talking about how to draw boxes. So it's pretty simple for one-point perspective. I'm going to start by drawing a box. So let's talk about the situations one-point perspective is useful. All right. So for one-point perspective, I'm going to be using this method when I have a box and the surface is facing me. So I've got a flat, probably easier this way, I've got a flat surface like this facing towards me, then I can use one-point perspective. When I've got an edge facing towards me like this, that's when I use two-point perspective. When I've got a corner facing towards me, that's when I'll use three-point perspective. So today, all of our boxes are going to be facing towards us like this. Okay. So I start by drawing the side that's facing towards me. It's going to be a flat plane like this, right? You can use your straight edge for this or not, but at this point I'm going to start using it because it becomes really useful. So all I need to do to make my box in one-point perspective is take the corners of these four or these four corners on the box, and connect them to the vanishing point. So right now what I've basically got is a box that goes all the way into the distance until it hits the horizon, which is not usually something I want to draw, right? So usually I want to have a back edge to the box, so we can put the back edge on. So all we need to do for that is decide where we want the back end to be, and make a line connecting those two diagonals, then across to here, across to here, across to here. I have to make my lines as straight as I can, or else they're not going to meet up in this corner, and that's a whole hassle. So there we go, that's what my box looks like. Now, to help you understand what's going on, I drew this box so that it's clear. I can see through the walls to see all of the edges and then to the box. Usually we don't draw them that way because we can't see through them. Usually they're made out of something we can't see through. So let's go ahead and do one of those. I'm going to do this, well, no, I'll do it right here. So again, we're just going to start with the box. And it can be however big I want it to be. We will keep it just kind of rectangular today to keep things simple. You don't want to make it too big because I do want you to fit a set number of these on here. Alright, so I'm going to connect, like I said, the corners, right? But I only need to connect the corners I can see. So this one right here, the front of the box here, this whole surface, is in the way. It's blocking it, so I can't see this edge, so I don't need to draw it. So the only ones I need to draw, a good way to think about it is imagine that there is someone standing here. He's trying to, there's an ant standing here, okay? The tiny ant gun. He's trying to shoot all of these corners. So he can hit this one, he can hit this one, he can hit this one. He can't hit this one because it's behind the box. So I don't have to connect that one. Alright, so there we go. That should go straight up and down. That should go sideways like that. I can darken them in with my dark pencil. Alright, let's talk about shading. I think I'm going to make the light coming from the right side today. So this right side will be light, this upper side will be light. This will be a medium. Alright, so there we go. Now, for these two, I can see 1, 2, 3 sides, right? 1, 2, 3 sides. Yeah? If I've got one that's either directly below the vanishing point here or on the horizon, I'm only going to be able to see one side. So let's do one of those real quick. So I've got one here. Actually, let's do this one up above since we haven't done one up above yet. I've got one up here. So since this is above the horizon line, I'm going to be able to see the bottom. So it's always going to be opposite where it's positioned. If it's above, I'll be able to see the bottom. If it's to the right, I'll be able to see the left side. If it's to the left, I'll be able to see the right side. Now, I don't need to draw these going all the way to the vanishing point. I can just draw them as long as I need them to be to make the box, right? And then say I want to end my box here. I have to erase, or I can erase the excess, right? So I don't want to have any more than is necessary. Here, 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 here. So this side's going to be dark, but also the bottom's going to be dark. I'll make it a little darker. All right. We get that? All right, so your assignment today is going to be to make 10 of those boxes in your sketchbook. So you're going to have to add 7 more to this page, or you can do another sheet if you want to do a 10 on there. But yeah, I just want 10 boxes on one page. I want you to keep the boxes simple, and that is going to be our sketchbook assignment for the day. So you have the rest of the period to do another 7. Yeah. All right, I'll go ahead and do 7 more boxes to complete the demo, but also if you guys are interested, you can watch and see how to do them. I'll go a little faster now. We start with a box, and for perspective drawing, we always have 3 types of lines. We have, but the types change with each one. So for 1-point perspective, we have horizontal and vertical, and then diagonal going to the vanishing point. And those are the only types of lines we really have for the basic part of this. Again, these go to the vanishing point. I add the back, and that's going to be a horizontal line and a vertical line. Now for this one, I get to get dark. This side's facing away. And then this one will be a medium tone. Another one right here. This one will be a tall, thin box. So horizontal, vertical, and then diagonal towards vanishing point. Back of it's going to be like right here, let's say. go medium on the shading here. Dark here. Okay, we're going to do a little overlapping now. It's going to be a fancy trick. Ready? So for this one, we're going to do a long, sort of wide box. This. Now, we've got some other figures overlapping this. So I'm going to make this edge go underneath this box we drew earlier. Stick it up there. And this box is clear. I'm just going to make it go right under there. And then across. This box is big. So now I've got some overlapping. That kind of adds to the three-dimensional feel of things and the illusion of space in the drawing. One, two, three, four, five, six. Made this one overlapping, so now I have to figure out where the corner would be. The corner would be about right here. Kind of erase that later. We just got a super skinny side here. We might not really be able to see. Let's see. Oh, just a little bit. Do our overlapping trick again. Darken this in. Yeah, just depending where the light's coming from. So I've got my light, I don't think you can see it, I drew it down below, but it's coming from over to the right. So everything on the right and the top is going to be light. And then the ones that are facing me and the bottom, or the ones that are facing me are going to be like a middle tone. The bottom ones are going to be kind of a darker tone. And then the stuff on the left is going to be darker too. It's kind of how I ran it. As long as you're consistent and it makes sense, it's fine however you do it. So I think that gets me to 9. I'm going to do the last one really easy. For the last one here, I'm going to make it in the middle. And basically, since this one is right over the vanishing point, I don't need to show any of the sides, so I can just draw a box for it. Ha ha ha.